Yes, everybody. I was just sitting there. Sometimes I sit there jamming to that intro song. How are we all doing? Sam here, United People's TV. It's Friday. Let's get vibey. A little bit of a positive vibe around United this week. Wow, I say this week. It's the contrast of United, the extreme emotions that you get as a United fan these days, the ups and the downs, the peaks and the troughs. They're quite big. After the Chelsea game, it's been a nice vibe this week, but at the start of the week, it was post Newcastle. Then we had the dressing room leaks. Then we had Ten Hag banning journalists, and it's sort of like it's up and down. It's madness. But anyway, we're here today to talk about the latest on the takeover from David Ornstein from The Athletic yesterday with Dave Brailsford and Jean-Claude Blanc, both at Old Trafford. Speak through that and the announcement and the latest on that. We're going to speak through January plans. There's an article from The Independent and Miguel Delaney. Just want to have a conversation really about what you really expect United to do or not to do in January. Then we'll speak about Gary Neville and Roy Keane yesterday. I'm not sure if anyone listened to the Overlap latest episode of Stick to Football. Man, that's such a cracking foursome. Wait, giggity. But Keane, Carragher, Neville, and Wright. It's just like four mates who just so happen to have been Premier League footballers. It's a really good show. And I'll speak about what they said about keeping us selling players, player power, a little bit more on that, bit on Bournemouth. Geez, 2 minutes haven't even said hello to the everyone in the comments here. Let's have a look. It's Friday. Get involved. Andrew, John, Josh, Alex, Garlic Bread Man. Gungshi, how you doing, buddy? Teresa, you're there as well. And Stephanie. It's nice to see females joining in too here in the United People's TV community. It's good, right? I think so anyway. Everyone gets involved. Saeed, Ryan, we've got Amy, we've got Chris, Frankie, Ant, you're there, Josh, you're there. Oh man, I tell you what, let's kickstart this. Everybody, I hope, is everyone enjoying the new Discord? Can you let me know in the comments? I say the new Discord, the refreshed Discord. It feels like it's more of a place where you can all call it home. And when you've got people like Gungshi and Shax, both of you, and everybody here, and Alex as well, man. I don't know what to say anymore. But it's 20 of you already this morning. Mate, this community, I swear YouTube needs to do a case study of this community. It really, really does. So many of you. One for you. One for you. How many times have I hit this gong on this channel? I've no idea. It still works though. Somehow that little tiny string hasn't broken yet. I'm looking forward to retiring this gong into the background, like sticking it on the wall there. when the software comes out. That will be quite funny. I think I should do that, actually. But look, first and foremost, let's kickstart the show with some good news. I think it's good news anyway. Latest episode of the podcast dropped this morning. It's me and Bao on this one. And we talk through everything. Well, everything that's happened this week anyway. We speak through the post-match reaction of the Newcastle, the dressing room leaks, Ten Hag's response. I've said it this week, and I'm actually going to pull this up right now. By the way, I got distracted there. If you'd like to listen to the podcast, it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on everywhere. And if you can, please leave a review of it somewhere. Whether you just like follow the channel on Spotify or whatever. It's very competitive. Talk of the Devils, I think, is probably my favorite other United podcast to listen to. Their class with Andy, with Laurie, Carl, and Ian. I think that what they do is fantastic. But I like to think that we do something pretty good here as well on United People's podcast. So if you'd like to give it a hand, just drop it a like and all that jazz. But there was something I wanted to say there quickly, and I just got completely distracted for it. All the training picks coming out. We'll run through some of those a little bit later in the show. Where is it? There was a quote there was this quote here, right? I might actually shave. I had a shave earlier this week. I might save this quote for a little bit later because I think it would suit slightly later in the show. But it's something that I've been mentioning quite a few times about Ten Hag. Actually, balls, I had it on screen there. My bad. But look, let's speak about the Premier League results yesterday, or just the Premier League results this week. It's been a good week. It has been a good week. Gurminder, absolutely disgusted. Just had a Liverpool advert before the live started. Hey, look, I don't control the adverts, right? This shoot YouTube, not me. That is disgusting. That's disgusting. But look, isn't it? You're telling me, I know bombshell, right? We've spoken about this a few times already over the last few weeks, but bombshell here, like throw a grenade in. Spurs have lost 4 and drawn 1 of their last 5 games when they had injuries and suspensions. Oh my God, you're telling me that a team losing its most important players has an impact on the quality of that team. This is staggering news. This is groundbreaking news. More to follow. Back to you in the studio. Good. Well, it is good. Spurs lost. Newcastle lost. Got steamrolled by Everton. Obviously, we beat Chelsea. Arsenal, they got that with Declan Rice. But look, this for Manchester United to come out. I like to think that we are that we're coming out. Well, there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Manchester United's injury crisis, which we've kind of been in all season, really. Lisandro Martinez coming back in January, February. So we're not quite out of it yet. Casemiro's still not back until after December. So there's still a few, but we're 3 points behind City. We're level with Spurs. We've somehow managed to navigate this. Like, there's not really going to be any United fan who looks back on 95% of the Premier League football we played this season with any sort of good memories. It was sort of like, well, thank God that's over. And we got past that. Because for us to be in this position now, having navigated all of that whilst playing crap football, it's quite impressive, really. It's good staying power. What United need to do now is build on what we saw against Chelsea, right? Which was type yes or no in the comments. I'd be kind of surprised if you disagreed. I feel that Chelsea was our best overall performance in the Premier League so far this season. Do you agree? I think we had this conversation before. Like, after we scored the second against Everton was good. Properly controlled that. First 20 minutes against Spurs away, that was pretty good. And then you're just like grabbing like 10 minutes out of certain games and 10 minutes out of another game. I think overall, it was the best. Gungshu, you're saying Chelsea and then Everton. Will, you say, mate, Chelsea? How is it that TalkSport are not doing 450 videos on Chelsea every day? Mate, they have spent like billions, and they were that bad. Anyway, I just think that was a pretty tasty set of results this week. What's the fixtures this weekend? Let's have a look. More information on potential. I'll go away. Right, so these are the fixtures this weekend. Let's see what's coming up. We've got Palace. Well, Liverpool winning that. That's 3 points. Who cares about Liverpool until next weekend? Where, well, I'm definitely going to care about Liverpool. Brighton, you'd expect them to beat Burnley. I'll speak about the Bournemouth game a little bit later. Bournemouth have got 15 points overall, I think, from 15 games in the Premier League this season. Did I get that right? 16 points in 15 games. Very close. Okay. But look at their form. 10 of their 16 points have come in the last 4 games. Right? I know on paper, Bournemouth should be that team you're just kind of steamrolling through, but yeah, be interesting. Sheffield United, who cares about that? Any tasty ones? Ooh, bonjour, je m'appelle. Spurs playing Newcastle. I can smell some drop points. Chelsea getting pumped at Everton. I can smell it. Luton not going to do anything against City. Oh shit, Aston Villa away to Villa as well. There's some tasty games this weekend. Tasty games. And United got Bournemouth. So we could well look on this table. Fingers crossed. All that jazz. Fingers crossed. We look on this table. If we can get a win at the weekend, come on, United, do it. We've got Liverpool next weekend, and nobody's putting a bet on United getting 3 points there. Definitely not. Yeah, but Josh, Everton they absolutely steamed Newcastle. And you want to know, is this a fun fact? I don't know if it is a fun fact. It kind of it's a fact. Man United are the only team in England's top 7 divisions to have not drawn a game of football this season, right? Our record in the league is this. We've got played 15, won 9 and lost 6. We've lost twice as many as City, but we're only 3 points behind them. And it goes to show you the importance of winning games. I think that's how it works. But kind of how I'm not saying that draws make no difference, because ultimately that point can make a difference towards the end. But you can draw. You could go a season undefeated in the Premier League and finish on 38 points. It's all about the wins. Amy, you're saying I'm jinxing us for the next game? Maybe. I hope not. I really, really hope not. But it's just it's quite funny. I don't know the word to describe it, because we have been, and I'm being polite here, like we've been garbage football wise for, I would say, at least like 60, 65, 70% of this season. And the football you're watching, you go, man, that is dross. That is so bad. Can't hit a barn door. Can't score. Yep, we're level on points with Spurs. And we're 3 points behind City. Hey, Barclays, Barclays. It's entertaining this season. That's one thing for sure. Long gone are the days where you get a Jose Mourinho team who concedes. Didn't a Jose Mourinho team concede, I swear, like 14 goals across the course of the whole season? What's the record for that? Record for least goals conceded in a season in the Premier League. I swear it was Mourinho, and I think it was like in 2004. That's mad. That is mad. In 2004, over 38 games, Chelsea conceded one more than Arsenal have in 15. They went an entire season conceding 15 goals. Right? Look, it feels like it anyway in the Premier League. There's been a bit of a switch over these last few years. There's been in my opinion, like a switch to more power and more physicality in how the teams are playing. And in the last few couple seasons, 2-3 seasons, with the growth of the teams outside the traditional top 6, like Aston Villa, kind of doing what Newcastle did the last season, but they look kind of even better. Long gone are the days of parking the bus. It really is. It's a league of 4-3s, 3-2s, 2-alls, rather than your squeaky 1-0s. Now, United obviously squeaked some 1-0s because we couldn't score. But it makes it more entertaining. And yeah, fingers crossed we get some even better results this weekend. Hopefully not a draw. Let me see what you're saying in the comments about the league table this year. Thoughts on Casemiro and Varane going in January? Asked Jamie. I'll speak about that a little bit later. We're going to talk about the INEOS takeover latest now from Ornstein, and then we're going to move on to speak about transfers. Frobman, I don't disagree. Our goal difference is poop. Again, I have to laugh. Brighton scored 14 more goals than us. City have scored literally double the amount of goals as us. And it's just one of those weird stats again. City have scored quite literally double the amount of goals that we have, and they've got 3 more points in the league. Madness, proper madness. Yeah, the football this season has been wildly unpredictable. That's kind of the way I would describe it. And how you doing, buddy? Thank you very much for the chat. Super chat. What are you saying? I'm hoping that Liverpool approach the game with some complacency, as no one expects us to have a bloody hope in hell, including us. I don't think Liverpool would approach it with complacency, but they will approach it with a massive degree of confidence and arrogance, which, let's be honest, they should have after what they did against us at Old Trafford, after what they've done to us at Old Trafford the last few times, man. They absolutely should have that level of confidence. I can't help it. I can already feel myself getting optimistic. Garlic bread, man. I'm disappointed, Sam. That hat does not match your shirt at all. Dude, I don't care. I had the shirt on. I was cold. Would you rather should we put the yellow one on then? Will this make you feel better? That better? We all agreeing on that? Is that thumbs up? Is that thumbs up for Garlic bread, man? Is he feeling better? Oh, no, I've not got the bloody. It's really annoying, actually. The label goes the wrong way around. Camera, it's there. That's straight. That one there. That'll do. That'll do. Is that better? Is it worse? I can't win. I can't win. Put your label straight. Get stuffed, a lot of you. I'm keeping this one on. I'm not living looking at the comments anymore. All right. Let's have a conversation about the takeover. It's been a conversation which, let's be honest, has been largely boring. Largely boring for a long old time. And it's been peak Glazers. Just slow, ponderous. What's happening? Indecisive. What's happening next? This, that, the other. And we've just sort of been left in limbo as a fan base. This is the latest from David Ornstein from The Athletic on the takeover, because yesterday, Dave Brailsford and Jean-Claude Blanc were both at Old Trafford. All right. So I'm going to pull this up. This is what they're saying. Dave Brailsford and Jean-Claude Blanc of INEOS met United executives at Old Trafford on Thursday as the takeover edges closer. We already know that. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. What do you make of this? What do you make of the fact that Murto and so Patrick Stewart, you know Patrick Stewart is, he was brought in, well, not brought in. He's like our chief legal counsel, and he was brought in, not brought in, but he was kind of promoted when Richard Arnold was booted out. I say booted out. He walked out the door before he was pushed. It's really annoying. I can't even get this bloody label straight because the camera is backwards. That feels pretty straight. No, it's not straight again. I'll do this off camera for about 5-10 minutes first. There you go. That's bang in the middle. Anyway, I have no idea who Parappa the Rapper is. You're going to make me Google that and just embarrass myself here. I don't want to do this. Yeah, that's strong. That's strong. I like that. Can't do anything here without getting slated by you lot. Luckily, I'm quite resilient, and it makes for a bit of entertainment, right? A bit of light entertainment. Swear to God, if I, in the world of, well, the internet, but specifically YouTube, if you run a channel and if you don't have a thick skin, you won't survive. If you can't sort of take it on the chin, you won't survive. Obviously, I'm not condoning, I'm not suggesting that you should just put up with bullying, but man, some of the comments that I've had to deal with over these years, jeez. Anyway, I got distracted here. I don't know what we're talking about now. What do you think about Murto and Patrick Stewart being in attendance? Some might look at that and go, John Murto's involved in the conversations. What's going on? I don't think that Murto will be here in the long term, but my prediction was that replacing Jean-Claude Blanc coming in as a CEO was a far sort of easier handover than replacing John Murto. I think replacing John Murto will happen, but I don't think he'll be gone straight away. Vol, you're saying they're part of the current setup, so it's it's not too surprising. I'll be honest. I completely agree. I don't want him. I don't really want him involved. I think there's enough, for me personally. I think there's enough evidence that he's not been able to modernise Manchester United in the way that he was supposed to be able to do. Right. But look, this is what else David Ornstein is saying on this. That's the big one there. Right. Let's pull that and highlight that. Brailsford and Blanc joined Ratcliffe in visiting Old Trafford in March when they were weighing up to whether to bid for the club. There's already pictures of that. Thursday's meetings represented a significant step forward in the process as part of a fact-finding mission. Not sure what sort of facts they're trying to find out. With confirmation of a 25% investment expected before Christmas. And it's like, man, what are the dates that we've got so far? 2 weeks ago, it was within a fortnight. At the end of last weekend, it was next week. This week, you're saying Mike Keegan suggesting it's not going to be this week, it'll be next week. And now you've got The Athletic saying before Christmas. I'm telling you, so many people want to be angry with the journalists on this one, right? Oh, you said this week. Oh, you said that week. I'm telling you, all of this goes down to the feet of the Glazers. Their delays and everything they're doing, it's all down to the Glazers. The complications of the deal, the takeover, it's all down to the Glazers. The complications of the structure and the legalities of it, it's all down to the Glazers. All of these delays, constant. It's down to the Glazers. So I think the journalists are getting good information. It's just that the goalposts constantly keep getting moved because of the Glazers. Jonesy is saying, why would they possibly be delaying? Dude, they're not delaying. It's just that the Glazers have always taken way too long over every decision, every micro decision. So the whole process is just long. Bikeable, you're saying nobody knows anything. No, I disagree. I think these journalists are getting good information. It's just that the goalposts constantly keep getting shifted. And the information that was accurate, not so accurate anymore. Not so accurate anymore. And a lot of journalists have got burned so many times throughout this whole process. Boy, oh boy. I can't wait for this to all be done. I cannot wait for this to all be done. Because, again, when you go back, right? And I went into this season genuinely realistic. Well, I thought it was realistic. My expectations and hopes were that Manchester United were going to build on what we saw last season. I'm going to take this off now because I'm actually quite hot. Imagine that. Hat hair. Get rid of the hat hair. Back in the game. Somebody going to be offended by my hairstyle now. Sodja. I went into this season genuinely hopeful of finishing second. And I don't know. Building on a League Cup. What's that? An FA Cup? Something else? Cup run in the Champions League? See, that's what I wanted at the start of the season. But given everything that's happened with the takeover, given everything that's been happening with the injuries and just everything off the pitch, it's quite impressive that we've managed to somehow stay with staying power. Like the top for everything is within reach, really, for Manchester United this season, apart from winning the league. Everything else, I think, is still a feasible ambition. That's what I think, anyway. It's not me saying that I think we're going to finish second and finish above Liverpool and City. It's not what I'm suggesting. I think everything apart from winning the league is still a feasible ambition now this season, which is quite impressive, considering how volatile Manchester United has been. How you don't even know who your boss is going to be in a week's time, let alone like your CEO or anything. It's madness. Winning the Champions League is out of the question as well. And that will definitely be out of the question come Tuesday night when we're literally out of the Champions League. And if we go out of the Champions League, I don't know whether this is going to be a popular opinion or not, but I hope we don't get Europa. I really, really hope we don't get Europa, man. I see there being a genuine benefit to United not having Europa League football this season and just playing once a week with the FA Cup. Might be a little bit frustrating, but I think over the course of our growth and our club being rebuilt and all that jazz, I think it would actually suit us. I think it would help us and help Ten Hag and help these players between now and the end of the season. I think it will put us in a better position for next season. Just my opinion. Anuj. Man, thank you so much, man. Anuj gifting 5 memberships. Everyone say thanks to Anuj. One of the OGs in the channel. Jeez. It's going to be a sad day when... Actually, it's not going to be a sad day when this Gon gets retired. It's going to be a happy day because then the software will be launched. See what you're saying down there. How can City be seen as a title race, says Josh, and we aren't, even though they're only 3 points ahead of us? Josh, do I really need to answer that question for you? No, I don't really. I think you already know the answer to that. This is a team that's won the last 3, won 5 out of the last 6. I think it's quite obvious why they're considered part of the race. Tell you what, though, how many games have City played without Rodri this season? How many games have they lost? I guarantee you there's a parallel between those two. That player, that number 6 role in the modern game, because teams are going so much more expansive and risky, they seem to be like they're the make or break player in a team, because they'll always. That's why it worked against Chelsea, because Amrabat had a really, really solid game covering all that space on his own. It's so much space to cover. It's a really, really hard position to do, to permanently be in the right position at the right time, not overcommit until you get it right. But yeah, City without Rodri are a very, very different team. But let's move on to speak about transfers, which I know a lot of you want to talk about. And I wish that we could, it's the 8th of December now, so we've got 23 days until the January transfer window opens. And I wish that we could say with more accuracy, we kind of know what the plans are. Yeah, I don't really think we can. I'm going to run through what the latest whispers and murmurs are from the press, and we can have a conversation. All right. This is what Erik Ten Hag said about January transfer signings in his interview with United We Stand. I've got my copy is going to be coming in the post soon. Going to be reading that. I've actually invited Andy onto the channel again because I'd love to speak to him about that interview. I've got a lot of time and a lot of respect for Andy in what he's done and how just over the years where United We Stand. And they've actually started a YouTube channel as well. So make sure you go and check out UWS. There was an interview yesterday he did with a girl called Jess, who he met outside Old Trafford. She said she wanted to get into sports journalism. She goes, well, come and interview me. So he gave her that opportunity. Pretty cool of Andy. Anyway, I'd love to. I don't know whether he's going to come on or not, but I'd love to. But Ten Hag in that interview saying, look, he doesn't think that Manchester United are going to be making any signings in January, which should come as a surprise to absolutely no United fan. All right? None whatsoever. And this is why. Okay? This is from The Athletic yesterday. Boring, I know, but these are the numbers, right? I've spoken about this. The profitability and sustainability rules are kind of like the Premier League's financial fair play. Their rules are, you can see there, top flight clubs are permitted to lose £105 million over 3 years, but 90 million of that has to be direct investment from the club's owners. And spoiler alert, Man United have had 0 of that. Didn't add nil point. Nothing from the Glazers. Because it's the Glazers. It's what they do. They don't invest in our football club. So therefore, that means that Manchester United can only lose £15 million over the last 3 years. And look how much money we've lost in the 2 previous accounting years. 2021 to 22 and 2022 to 23. 182 million. Now, I don't know, and this goes to, man, we're going back into needing a bloody accountancy degree in to understand the problems at United. I don't know whether part of that year can still be written off under the COVID regulations. I don't know that. But yeah, Man United can only lose 15 million over 3 seasons going into this accounting year, which is coming up. And we've currently lost 182 million in the last 2. Right? That's why we're skint. We are skint. But this is when Ratcliffe's investment is going to be big, because Ratcliffe's investment comes in. And if he puts 90 million in, all of a sudden we're allowed to lose a lot more. So he can make a difference pretty much straight. And that's why this is a little bit more frustrating, because if this had been ratified and done by now, then Ratcliffe would have been able to put in 90 million. You know, that investment he's got up front. He could have injected that into the club straight away and given Man United a bit of a buffer for January. And maybe a signing. I'm not saying the signing can't happen. I'm saying it's unlikely. I think it's far more likely that sales happen. And it wouldn't surprise me to see big names going. All right, this is from Miguel Delaney. There was a conversation or a point earlier. Someone wanted me to speak about Casemiro and Varane. Let's speak about it here. And you're asking, you're saying, who has the say on where that 90 million goes? Well, presumably, it depends. Like, Jean-Claude Blanc is going to be the CEO. He probably, therefore, is going to be a person that bridges a gap between the footballing and non-footballing side, because as CEO, you have to be chief executive operation. You have to overlook all the operations, right? I imagine that when it comes to transfer budgets, the Glazers are going to be setting it still, because they're the ultimate owners of the club. And he go, look, it's guessing game, it's speculation. We got no idea. It's just going to be a complicated ass structure. Really is. But look, Man United open to offers for star players in January. This is what Miguel Delaney's writing. He's saying this: Man United are willing to listen to offers on a series of high-profile players. All of Casemiro, Varane, and Jaden Sancho are available for transfer. What do you think about it then? Someone asked me to comment earlier. I'll ask you. Wouldn't be surprised to see Rafa Varane go, if I'm honest. Ten Hag obviously doesn't trust him at left centre-back, so much so that he'd rather play Johnny Evans there, in the same way that Johnny Evans started ahead of Maguire when he was an option early this season. But now Maguire is so bang in form, Ten Hag isn't going to put him there. And rightly or wrongly, and you can, and I think this one you can just disagree with, because it's a tactical reason, really. Erik Ten Hag is not playing Varane there. I'm telling you, Saudi Arabia might get United out of a bit of a pickle with Casemiro and Varane, because we spent, was it 110 mil? I think we spent 110 mil on Casemiro and Varane, thereabouts, on a 30-year-old and a 28-year-old. So Varane was at his absolute peak as far as athletic performance goes, but the reality is that he's been anywhere from his athletic peak since he joined United. His best years were absolutely around Madrid. I don't think Man United should be considering selling Casemiro in January. Just my personal opinion. In the summer, I absolutely think we should be selling Casemiro. But I just think in January would be, bear in mind, right, we're very unlikely to be able to replace with like long-term targets or quality. Like Liverpool signed Gakpo in January. Chelsea signed Enzo Fernandez after the World Cup. United, back in the day, we signed Mata, but Mata was a panic signing by our club because Moyes was absolutely floundering. He goes, let's give him a boost. Let's go and say, who's Chelsea's best player? Go on in, bring Mata in. Sancho, Alfeda's in. And those three of those, they're probably three of our biggest earners as well, really. Yeah, we signed Bruno Fernandes in January, of course. That will be our biggest one. I'm not saying it's impossible, but to make a really top level January transfer, you have to have really solid plans so you can work ahead. So Liverpool signing Gakpo wasn't just I don't know, let's just sign Gakpo. It was like, well, we could sign him in the summer, but let's bring that forward, and he can have. It's like Luis Diaz as well. When Liverpool did that, they brought forward a plan that was going to be executed in the summer, but they executed it earlier because they could. I wouldn't be surprised to see Varane leave and Sancho leave, but I'll be surprised if Casemiro left. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. Chris, you're saying you think we'll have enough cover for Casemiro. You could say Dan Gore could come through. Obviously, we've got Kobe Mainu, Christian Eriksen. Well, he's out until, when is he back? He can't be that far off. Don't know. Scott McTominay, I'm not even talking about Scott McTominay in that position. Sancho, Martial, Van der Beek, Varane all out in January. Daniel, hey, that's probably, honestly, and this is the, I suppose you might disagree with part of this. That right there, I don't really think affects the quality of Manchester United starting 11. I think there's a conversation to be had around Varane, right? And whether his exit would. But Sancho, Martial, and Van der Beek, I'm telling you, you wouldn't even know they weren't there. You wouldn't even know they weren't there. Ben, you're saying you really don't like McTominay, do you? Hold on here. Is this something that sort of is this what's coming across from me on McTominay? Hey, dude, I've got nothing but love for McTominay. However, he is not a central midfielder. He is not a defensive midfielder. And he has been misused at Manchester United pretty much since he came through. And as it stands right now, Manchester United don't have a capability of controlling a game of football in midfield and playing both Bruno and McTominay in the same 11. Unless maybe Bruno goes out on the right-hand side. And you know what I think about that. We've just not been able to find the right balance, but you can't take him out your team now. You can't. Guy's just too important to us, goal-wise anyway. He's done very, very good, man. And you'll know at the start of the season, I said of all the players that we're getting linked with selling, McTominay would probably be the last one on my list. I would sell a lot of players before McTominay. Me and Bal actually had a good we had a good old like 5-10 minute chat about McTominay on the podcast this week. Well, I say this week. We do 2 a week now. Because I've spent so long saying that McTominay shouldn't be in our starting 11. I'm not surprised that he scored goals. What I am surprised about is how much we kind of controlled the game in the second half while still having Bruno and McTominay on the pitch. Straight swap and Sancho for Tony. Come on, Brentford. That seems like a good deal. No, it's a terrible deal. It is a terrible deal. What is Scott then? He's not a number 10. A number 10. Scott McTominay is a supporting striker. SS. Not really a number 10, but somebody who, in an ideal world, would sit quite close, quite tight to the number 9, but just a little bit behind him. He would operate in the same sort of central positions as a striker, but he'd do it like 10 yards deeper than the striker. That's where Scott McTominay is at his best. Right? Because he can always, therefore, arrive on the edge of the box, late runs into the box. That's where that right there is Scott McTominay's position. He's in no way, shape, or form a number 6. He's not a number 8. He's not a traditional per se number 10. False 9, if you want to call it there. Sod knows. Make numbers up if you want. But I would put him down as a supporting striker. And in this current formation, the setup that Ten Hag has, he doesn't quite fit. But he does because of the goal threat. And that's the quandary that we've got right now. Now, I want to go through and speak about... There's still plenty we've got to talk about here. I saw this. Let's speak about this quickly before we move on, right? If you can, by the way, ladies and gents, drop a like on the video. It's Friday and all that jazz. I've realised we haven't done a giveaway in there since the start. I did one. Jonathan, you still haven't emailed me your address. You've got 1 day now because I've given you 2 reminders. Or maybe you haven't. I haven't seen it. Slide into my DMs on Twitter because that's the easiest one for me to see. And I'll get the shirt sent out to you, which I don't know where it is, actually. We'll do another one of these next week. You did do it. Sorry, Jonathan. I just haven't seen it. We'll do another one of those next week because I haven't got anything to put in it right now. I'm trying to think. Anybody want a hat? What about this hat? What's wrong with my hats, man? Bullies. What am I talking about? Oh, yeah, this. Right. Did I miss super chat early on? Don't think I did. No, there's no super chats. Sancho, right? Mania, you want my black Cantona jersey? Ain't no bad boy getting that. She mad. 5 Cantonas. I'm still happy about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Jonathan, if you've DM me on Twitter, dude, you haven't DM United People's TV because it's not me. But look, let's speak about this, right? Jaden Sancho. Yeah, I think I've made my opinion quite clear on how Ten Hag handled this Jaden Sancho situation. And he was asked by United We Stand. He goes, look, Is there anything that you would do differently with Jaden Sancho if you could do it again? And he said, absolutely not. And you know what? You know what sort of happened and transpired since Jaden Sancho has been sort of ostracized at United? He's been isolated. You've just seen more evidence coming out that proves Erik Ten Hag was correct in what he was doing. In particular, in the Nemanja Matic's interview, where he questioned the professionalism of Jaden Sancho and Paul Pogba, right? This one here. I did a video on it early this week. And it's so completely true. Have you seen, there's been reports now that the anti-doping regulators are suggesting a 4-year ban for Paul Pogba. If that happens, that's the end of Paul Pogba. My word. You are looking at two players there, Pogba and Sancho. Wow. They could have and should have become, I'm not saying legends of Manchester United, but they should have been incredible players for us. And Sancho's just going to leave a very angry man. That's the way it's looking. And on top of that, that latest thing from Matic is, as I've already said, the response that I've seen from McTominay and Maguire. Two players who I've slated Maguire more than any individual at Manchester United. And last season, you know why I did that? Because he was our captain. And I felt that, therefore, he would have more responsibility than the rest to really show up. And he just didn't. But Maguire has shown the sort of like Beckham levels of resilience. Maybe actually, no, he has dealt with a lot. And a lot from me as well. And I always say this to people, right? And this is, honestly, this is kind of like an important lesson in life. Because I do this channel and this platform, right? My opinions get sort of stamped. You can go back and see what I thought 7 months ago. And you can pull that up against me and go, well, look, here goes, oh, he's just chopping and changing and all that jazz. Is that you are allowed to change your opinion in life when you are presented with more evidence. Okay? New things come to light that make you go, hold on, what I thought before, I might have been slightly wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like critical thinking, it's called. Understanding all the evidence in front of you and changing. 1 second, we've got somebody spamming to hell here on Facebook who is just going to be blocked. Bam. See ya. Yeah, it's important. It is important that you are able to change your opinion. I'm not saying on a week by week basis. Think something 1 week, next week think something different, and then 2 weeks later go back to where you were before. That's flipping and flopping. But Maguire is just, he's continuously proving me wrong. I expected him to really falter against Galatasaray, Newcastle, and Chelsea, and just 3 games where he's just continued to get better and better. I think you're going to be looking at Maguire and Shaw as probably the centre-back partnership that we should be playing in these next few games. And you're seeing more sort of some more stories coming out. This is from Matt Hughes from the Daily Mail saying Ten Hag's refusing to give in to Man United's players' demands for more days off. You want to know a curious little thing as part of this article? Look at the last line of it. United declined to comment. So Matt Hughes not taking that risk of not getting in contact with Erik Ten Hag and Manchester United. But yeah, he's suggesting here that Man United's players have been sort of, Erik, man, it's hard. Can you let us know like 2 weeks in advance what we're going to be doing next week? Can we have a couple of more days off? I thought that final line was funny. But this bit here was the thing I said at the start of the video, which I think I accidentally pulled up on screen. I said it's kind of felt like these last few weeks that Ten Hag has really started to understand and really embrace the concept of it really is everyone against United. And Just that quote there. Like, people love Man United or they are against Man United. I like clubs like this. Ajax was like this. This job is the most difficult to do, but I want the challenge. And it really feels like his actions this week and his actions across the course of the last couple of weeks has started to, I don't know. I don't know whether it's starting to happen now or it's always happened. I don't know. But just the impression that I've got is that I think Ten Hag is really, really realizing how important it is to have that mindset and mentality inside Manchester United. And it's why, honestly, it's why you've got to ignore so much of what goes on everywhere. Like, I won't really look at Twitter replies. I obviously look at your comments as the community here. And it's not about just creating an echo chamber where you just surround yourself by people who compliment you and you don't look at genuine criticisms and you go, oh, look at great, which I think Maguire was doing for a long time. But I just really like that quote. And I really like what he did this week with the press. And I think the response from the players showed that. And famous last words and all that. And I'll speak about the game against Bournemouth. But for the first time in a while, I'm not sure if you're just, again, this may well come back to spite me in the arse. I feel like I've got some confidence that United are going to continue and build on the Chelsea performance. I mean, we'll see on Saturday. We will. Alex is saying you're doing a starting lineup video. I will be doing that at lunchtime-ish today. But yeah, look, this is what Gary Neville has been. I'm not sure, as I said earlier, the overlap video, what's it called? Stick to Football. The latest one was really, really good, man. It's such a good quartet. Better than a foursome. And Gary Neville was speaking about these stories, and this line in particular. I used it in my video yesterday, and I just completely and utterly agree with it. Like, just the concept that a manager's at your football club, he really, really wants to succeed. Yeah, sure, he's made some mistakes. When you manage a team that size, I'm not just talking about football. If you work in an office and you're a manager and you manage 24, 25 people, I'm going to be extremely surprised if you make decisions that don't piss a couple of those people off. It'll be amazed, really. When you manage a squad of that many people, very, very hard to get them all completely and utterly on the same wavelength. And look, even when, look at Pep, look at City, they won 3 in a row and there's still sort of murmurs and whispers in the squad. It's part of football. But the concept of those people then going to the media, undermining the manager and all the other players who are putting in all the hard graft to sort of protect themselves, yeah, I think it is unforgivable. It's like a mole in your own family, in your own business, trying to sweep your own feet away. And that's why I was so happy that he banned the journalists. I think that not only was that a message to the journalists, but I think that was a message to the players as well. That really, really was. I'm going to go down here and read a few of your comments out. Now, let's have a little 5-10 minute conversation about the game against Bournemouth this weekend. Top Death Angel saying, I can see Højlund getting his first Premier League goal this weekend. Nah, man. I've already decided for him. Højlund is saving his first Premier League goal. He's going to score a brace as well. He's saving them for Anfield. And it's really nice of him to do that because I will very much enjoy it. I think Højlund's saving his first goals for Anfield, and he just scores 2, and it'll be fine. And it'll be totally fine. And then United will win 2-0. He can score in the 86th and the 89th minute. It's fine, 2-0. I'll take that. Thank you very much, Højlund. Linton is saying, Sam, can you send a shout out to my son Liam, who got 3 awards today at grade 1? Congratulations, Liam. I have no idea what grade 1 is. What is that? Is that reception? No, year 1. Is that 7? 6? 6 or 7? I have no idea. And you're saying, I'm often unhappy with decisions handed down by seniors, but I just have to get on with it. No, you don't. You go on there, you go on Mum's net, and you start a thread. You start throwing shade. You start throwing indirects. No, you don't. No, I'm not saying you do. That's what you could do. But what do you think about this weekend then? Do you share the same sort of optimism that I do. That I think I'm not saying that we're going to dominate them. I'll save my prediction for the video, as I always do. But I don't know. I saw something against Chelsea, and again, this is the optimistic Sam that's ready to get hurt, just like I always am every week. But I don't know. This week, the wheels really, really could have fallen off at Manchester United. All right. After that Newcastle game, after all the reports started to emerge from the press, had this week gone differently, had Ten Hag not banned the journalists, he was then getting asked those questions by those journalists, and he got a little bit twitchy, irate, got a little bit angry. And you remember, then the press are going to be like, oh, Ten Hag's losing it. You can see he's losing it in the dressing room. You can imagine what the press would have done. And then we went into that game against Chelsea, and the performance continued like it did against Newcastle. Man, the negativity around this club would have been all-encompassing. But instead, Ten Hag got control of those leaks, banned those journalists, controlled the press conference, no whispers or murmurs of it, went to Chelsea and put in our most convincing performance of the season. That is not something that can happen when you lose 50% of the dressing room. It just can't. You can't score injury time winners against Brentford and Fulham if you've lost the dressing room. You don't. A team will not be putting the required effort in at that point in the game to get those goals. And the Chelsea game, it was controlled. Amrabat, yes, please, more of it. Because Amrabat and Mainu are going to be the keys as to whether this works or not this season. Of course, you need to score more goals. We need to be better finishing. Of course we do. But the key to sustainable success across the course of this season, in my opinion, relies on Amrabat and Mainu making that midfield theirs. Whether it's both of them together, whether it's one isolated, they are going to be the difference makers. Now, of course, you need more midfield balance, and that's going to be down to Bruno and McTominay or whoever else plays in there. But this game against Bournemouth at the weekend, it's not going to be easy, man. As I said, Bournemouth have got 16 points this season, and they've got 10 of those points in the last 4 games. 3 wins and a draw. They're coming in form. Is it Iraola? I think the name of their manager. Sort of a manager who came in, sort of progressive new manager. Every team's kind of moving towards that. De Zerbi at Brighton, down there at Bournemouth as well. Emery at Villa. Like, not that I'm saying that it feels like long gone are the days of just like Sean Dyche, Sam Allardyce, and those sorts of managers in the Premier League. I'm not saying that you got Chris Wilder coming back to Sheffield United, so I don't know what to expect this weekend, but I'm genuinely hopeful that the performance will continue. And I don't think that's just blind optimism. A little bit of team news. I've seen quite a few of you mentioning this, so I'm going to have a conversation about it. Big up to Ahmed, who's back in training. I say back in training. He hasn't trained all season. I find the Ahmed and the Malacia injuries kind of the weirdest at the club this season. Ahmed, was it Arsenal he went off against? I wouldn't say it looked completely innocuous, but it just kind of looked like It wasn't like a horror one, like when Van der Beek bent his knee back. It wasn't one of those. Yep, Ahmed's just like gone off the face of the earth. No real mention of him having surgery. I think he had surgery. And it's just been a long old road to recovery. And then Malacia. Like, he's had a knee injury. He wasn't even there in pre-season. Like, not a peep out of the club. I think I read a report suggesting that he had a setback halfway through and then had further surgery. Weird. I find it really, really weird how both of those. But Ahmed, right, let's speak about Ahmed in particular. Spoke about him on the podcast yesterday because someone sent in a question. If you're looking at all, Højlund might not be scoring, but he is our first choice striker. Garnacho, he is absolutely our first choice left winger, and Rashford's going to have to try and find a way to get in there. But right wing is where Ahmed could fit in. Now, mainly you're saying, what's Ahmed's position? If you look at where he actually played at Sunderland, On paper, Ahmed's like a natural winger. But at Sunderland, he drifted inside a ton, kind of operating as like a number 10 with a bit more freedom. So he was floated centrally in and around the box. A lot of the time for Sunderland, that was kind of where he played. But right wing, if you're going to look at where he's going to fit in at United, it's right wing. Because there's no way that you're going to get Ahmed playing as one of those 2 number 8s. They have to be like all-purpose midfielders. He's a number 10 right winger hybrid, if you want to call it there. But someone whose natural instinct is to cut inside, not go on the outside. Very much like Anthony. But he could well be back. Well, I saw this as well. Mate, Sergio Reguilon is having the bloody time of his life meeting at Man United, isn't he? It's like he's won a competition. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. He's every single cameo he's put in. I've been impressed by Reguilon. And spoiler, I've absolutely got Reguilon in my starting 11 for this weekend. Absolutely do. And I'll speak about that a little bit more in the show. But no, it's good to see a lone player coming in and actually he's the left back version of Weghorst. You can never fault Weghorst's work ethic. Man, I remember the conversations we used to have about old Veggie. Man, he could not score. I actually thought he was going to burst into tears when he scored in front of the Stretford end. Remember that run he did, that celebration away after, what is it? He scored against Brighton with the penalty. And he was like, big old knee slide at Wembley. Had the time of his life winning that League Cup. But yeah, I'm guessing he's not been in because he's been injured. I'm guessing so anyway. But I would definitely start him this weekend. What's your predictions then, ladies and gents? Actually, no, sod that. We'll save that for tomorrow. We'll be live here tomorrow, by the way. And we'll run through our full projections there. Projections? Predictions. Because, most important part of the show, it's Friday, which means, of course, one thing, it's Saturday tomorrow. Second thing, it's map day. Map day, you know what to do. You know the drill. Fire in what country you're watching from and the city in that country, and I'll add a few of you onto the map. Last few points that we've added onto the map. We're at 543 points now. We've got Dallas, Texas. Pietermaritzburg in South Africa. Macau in Poland. Ruse in Bulgaria. And Bamako in Mali. They're the latest ones we've got on here. Let's see what else we can get. We've got Andy watching from Cape Verde in the South Island. Cape Verde. Cape Verde. South Island? Cape Verde, South. That looks about right. I mean, it's a nice life, isn't it? It is a nice life, Andy. Enjoy that. Where have we got? We've got Manoil watching from your hometown. You've got Stara Zagora in Bulgaria. Stara. There we go. That was easier to find. Let's get 2 more on here. I'm feeling festive. Feeling festive. There he is. Everyone say hello to Miles. Big up, Miles. Yerevan in Armenia. Look at that. I spotted you. That's quite impressive of me, really. Let's get one more up here. We've got Charles watching from Port Moresby in Papua New Guinea. Honestly, it won't ever, it's kind of like a double negative here, but it won't ever not surprise me just how global this community is. It is honestly awesome. Imagine that. Just ended up quitting the channel, and then I just spend the rest of my life traveling around these 547 points. And we start a different channel. It's like UPTV World Tour. The World Tour will never bloody end. I'll tell you that. I enjoyed that show. Yeah, I enjoyed that show. I very much enjoyed the Premier League this week. And it's about time we enjoyed a week because we haven't had that many good weeks to really, really sort of enjoy. I hope it's going to be another good weekend. We've got Chelsea. We ran through the fixtures there. We've got Chelsea away at Everton, Newcastle away at Spurs, and Arsenal away to Aston Villa whilst we play Bournemouth at home. Fingers crossed, eh? Fingers crossed. We're going to have another live show tomorrow morning. So I'll be here and we can do like a proper full preview of that. And Ten Hag will have all of his quotes out from his press conference. There'll be a little bit more to do about. Mainly you're saying, will you be doing a Christmas event? Yeah, we're going to be doing a Christmas drink along. Drink along? Is that a thing? We'll do like a Christmas quiz and a Christmas drinks with members and everybody in Discord. There's 20 of you that got gifted. I loved more than that, actually, I think. Got gifted a membership by the best community in the world. I will leave you the link to the Discord now. Please go in there, join. Joe will be there. Everyone will be there to welcome you in. It's a spot to be. And I'll be there with the arms tomorrow at 2:30 tomorrow. You can come and live chat to me for the game. Woo! City playing at Luton. Imagine. Now that would be a story. Take it easy, everyone. Have a cracking Friday, and I will see you tomorrow. Well, actually, I'll see you at lunchtime today, but tomorrow also.